Well, this is Cardo's media, and yeah, don't blame the messenger. Yeah. Well, this is Cardo's media, and yeah, don't blame the messenger. Yeah.
Yo, you don't know, this is Trilogy, straight out of Dominica, and you're tuned in to Cardo's Media. Don't blame the messenger. Boom!
Okay, so then, we're just going to try to run that quickly and then get into it.
Yo, what's going on?
Well, this is Cardo's media, and yeah, don't blame the messenger. Yeah.
Yo, you don't know, this is Trilogy, straight out of Dominica, and you're tuned in to Cardo's Media. Don't blame the messenger. Boom!
Let me sit still.
Yeah, man, what going on, Fido?
I pull up.
Yes,
Pull up.
yes. Hope you guys having a wonderful evening, morning, nights, whichever one it may be for you,
Definitely. So Carol, we're gonna get into that.
Grow.
We're gonna get into that there quickly because we have to do the reaction on it. It says here the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries, Blue and Green Economy. He made that statement that it says that the urges eat what we grow. So basically, for the topic, what do you think about the topic? Based on the title, right?
Man, it's a good topic that's been needed to be spoken about a long time coming. We spoke on this briefly, but tonight, as we are having this discussion on it all entirely, I think it's been a topic that we've been needed to touch, and it's been that we neglected. That's something that we've been neglecting for a while.
Yes, definitely.
How you doing? How you doing? We're gonna talk about eating what we grow. According to the Minister of Agriculture, he says that we need to, based on, we're gonna go through the article in a little bit, but we just wanna, get your opinion on what is being going on.
So Winston, as you there, so does let us know what you think about that topic. The topic that says, it urges us to eat what we grow. What do you think about that right there and there? Definitely. We know that on Cardo's Media, we've been speaking about the importance of eating what we grow and basically the agriculture industry, furthering it and pushing it through. So then to see that the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and the Blue and Green Economy is saying that, then it's a very good thing. It's a very good initiative, I believe. But we will go and dive into it to see what he says and at least try to make sense out of it. You there with me, Cado?
I hear you loud and clear, man.
Right,
the little boy talking, so I don't want him to disturb the life,
I hear, man. I hear. So then we're going to go into the article and we're gonna discuss some things right there. So it says, as global trade tensions escalate, Caribbean nations are bracing for the economic ripple effects, particularly in the food and agriculture sector.
Pull it up on the screen.
Oh yeah, I'm putting it up on the screen so everybody can see. One time, let me zoom in a little bit.
Put it up on the screen so everybody can see it, yeah. And zoom in a little bit.
So it says, as global trade tensions escalate, Caribbean nations are bracing for the economic ripple effects, particularly in food and agriculture sector. In Dominica, however, the strategic investments are helping to strengthen the island's food security and economic resilience. It says strategic investments are helping to strengthen the island's food security and economy. I hope that is true. I am not fully, aware of that, but I hope it is true. According to the Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Blue and Green Economy, Honorable Roland Royer, It says the region is expected to face increased production costs for farmers and elevated consumer prices as a result of rising prices for essential agricultural imports. These pressures could deepen the Caribbean's reliance on imports and strain local economies. The agriculture minister says the government of Dominica has taken a proactive approach. In Dominica, we have been working towards building a resilient agriculture sector post Hurricane Maria, which caters to external shocks such as the current trade war, Minister Roya stated. Over the past several years, the government has funneled over $75 million into the agriculture livelihood projects, with an additional $25 million earmarked for investment by the end of 2025. More than $40 million has been spent on rehabilitating feeder roads across the island, a project that will continue until all major roads have been restored. Thus far, these investments have triggered an increase in crop and livestock production and fisheries, which is reflected in an increase in agricultural contribution to the GDP, he also said. As part of its strategy to boost food and nutrition security, the government has allocated over $7 million to build climate resilient livestock pens, and is currently constructing a $6.4 million abattoir for chicken and pork. This development is expected to reduce the importation of these meats by 25% by the year of 2030. The ministry will continue to expand its import substitution program into high-value crops such as tomato, bell peppers, broccoli, and cauliflower spring, board from the gains made in the production of white potatoes. He also said he encouraged citizens to eat more of locally grown produce. Critical to weathering the impact of these global trade tensions is that we need to increase local production and eat what we grow. He urged we need to consume much more of what we produce and let us be less reliant on imported goods. I think it's a perfect opportunity for our farmers to plant more, as there will be a huge demand for fresh produce, both locally and in the region. What do you think about that?
Well, what I think about that is kind of a little bit late. Should have been put in place long before these trade wars began. I think we said this before, that we are very reactive as a government and not proactive as a government.
Yeah.
But he said that they've been spending how many billions of dollars or millions of dollars in agriculture, $72 million in agriculture. Have that really trickled down to the local farmer? The abattoirs, build and grow the agricultural sector. But has the eating local and natural all the way? Sure. We should reduce the large amount of monies spending, importing, and buying manufactured food items. That is very true.
Perfect.
That is very, very, very.
Yeah. But then there's a couple of things I want to ask, because he said that they funneled over $75 million into the agricultural livelihood project. So that's a project they have going on. I'm not too sure about it. And then if an additional $25 million earmarked for investment by 2025. So then basically we could say by the end of 2025, they try to say that they would put in $100 million into the agriculture sector. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It says currently over 60 products without 1 cent of this budget made available to we flavors, primarily blocked by inside competition. But let's see if the pipelines will continue to lead to the sea. Okay.
So Peter is endorsing his product, which is the WE flavors, the WE flavors, and he's saying that not 1 cent came to his business. So that's the question I asked earlier. Has these things hit the local farmers?
And how do they? Go ahead. I'll ask it after.
Can the local farmers say that they received any of these funds? I am not saying they haven't. Or is it a pick and choose kind of system? Those are the questions. Those are the real hard-hitting questions. Is it a pick and choose? Who has received any of these fundings? So at the end of the time, we need to ask that. I don't
Definitely.
understand where the $75 million has been spent in agriculture. And I'm waiting for Drex to come on so he can probably explain a little bit better because he has direct impact in the agricultural field. I don't. So I wouldn't know how the money is being spent or where it's being spent at.
Exactly.
And those are the real hard-hitting stuff.
And who decides what is the criteria to benefit of a project like that? I am not sure. The thing is, this is a good initiative in essence, but then it's how they manage it that becomes the issue every time. And you cannot give somebody management. You can't give somebody who's irresponsible to manage something like that, especially in a time like this where we're very late into implementing this thing. We cannot afford for somebody to come in and be partisan in that. We can't be somebody to come in and say, "Oh, because I don't know you to be with that particular color or be with that particular person, you're not gonna benefit." This is where we have to put aside all those things.
And you see, again, we have to fight for development of country and not development of political allegiance. You get what I'm saying? It's country first and everything else after. But we do it the backwards way. We put everything else up before and then country last. So we will never go nowhere.
And all of us will suffer. Yeah, man. Oh well, we need to have we flavors. We flavors. You need to make. I'm checking with us at the end of the live. Let's make an ad for you and have to do the ad stuff going on. I think that's a good thing.
We flavors going to eat on no money. The people is ad.
Well, yeah. But talk.
We are troubling you, man.
No, man. But what do you guys think about it? What do you guys think about this initiative? And then what are the factors you believe that can cause this to either succeed or fail? Because we have a serious issue in Dominica where they have very good initial projects. They have very good initial projects, they have very good initial programs. But I think it's a lack of continuity, a lack of foresight or insight, I should say, in terms of carrying those things through. My mother always told me, you never give a hungry man share food. You eat it.
So he go eat it out for himself. Yeah. That is definitely true.
Of course.
But let's get serious here now. I know about this abattoir thing for a while. The abattoir been open. So where he said or mentioned the abattoir, where's that in the statement? You can scroll on to where the abattoir side is.
Let me get it to see if I can pull it up quickly. Tensions. Okay.
When they talk about the meat. Yeah, in that line right there. So, yes.
Yeah. So it says. I'm gonna get the full stop.
It says,
so the government. Yeah, go ahead. As part of its strategy to boost food and nutrition security, the government has allocated over $7 million to build climate resilient livestock pens and is currently constructing a $6.4 million abattoir for chicken and pork.
You see? No, the abattoir been there. The abattoir been around for a while. I spoke on that on Randy's live before.
Because the next, so it's but look what it's saying. It's saying it's currently constructing though.
No, it's not in no construction. The abattoir been around for a while now. They were cutting up goat meat. They were saying to bring all your goat meat and your chicken, your poultry to the abattoir to get cut up and stored. So that's some. You see that. Let's go back up. Scroll back up to the top of this thing there real quick. Let me just make sure. What's the date of this article? Let before we even go any further. What's the date of this article?
April the 14th, 2025.
April the 14th. Okay then. So you speaking about things. He spoke about the abattoir before. I know I heard him talk about the abattoir before. So why now are you talking about something that has already been there? The abattoir been around for a while. I don't like how these people try to fool people and make people think that these things ain't there. We have had an abattoir. I know about the abattoir. I know about it. People bringing their meat there so they get cut up.
Yes, sir. And then the next thing again too is how long would it take to construct those climate resilient livestock pens?
Boy. That is the next question. You know?
I don't know. I don't know how they claim.
So that's where we at. We always getting fooled and bamboozled and making it seem that we don't have certain things in place and in stock. And we've had this thing around for a while. The abattoir been around for a while. And we have not been utilizing the abattoir to its full potential. So probably now they have to fix the building. Probably that's what is going on. But the building been constructed already. And it's been utilized before. So probably was underutilized, got damages, and they now getting it refurbished. But you can't come and say you're building a building that's already been built. So then who pocketing some of that $7 million there?
Listen clearly. $7 million is for the climate resilient livestock pens, and then the $6.4 million is for the abattoir.
So who pocketing out of that $6.4 million for the abattoir? Where have we seen any of these climate resilient livestock pens? Have we seen any? Have we heard of anybody who received
a climate resilient livestock pen?
Have we heard of anybody who received such a thing? You know, those are the questions that need to be put to the leaders at present. Has anybody received any of these climate resilient pens? How much funds is gonna really go towards helping the young person?
A young person start up.
To give some young person a startup in this agricultural sector. How many of them? We need to ask those questions. Our leaders need to be more transparent. Don't come here and call out figures for people who wouldn't look into it. I would be one that looking into it. Peter will be one that looking into it. Let us make the conversation a conversation and not a put down. Oh, I just giving you information. Nah, don't give me information that is wrong. Don't give me false information.
So that country is racket, my brother. Small businesses is so now World Bank, they want to grab your bread, allocate it to you, and offer crumbs. So tell the minister, I say some of us cannot wait the time God comes to judge the living and the dead. Let me tell you now, and all of this happening. I mean, all of this is like I say, the overall idea is a very good idea, but I don't think I say anything for that concerns fisheries and
and the blue economy.
I don't see nothing related to that. And my father was a well-known fisherman. And this is something I would want to see happen, where we can have our own little tuna label. If fishermen know they catch how much tuna, how much stores, and are going one shot. Everybody going and see,
Of course. But you see, again, Fido, is lack of vision. I am not saying that they don't have vision, but their vision is like a reaction vision.
It's always reactive.
If somebody come up with an idea on a media platform, yes, we was gonna do that, Yes, we was da. No, you can't live that way. You can't run a country that way. You cannot. And it's taking people like us to come out and talk to make them realize, well, yeah, everybody that does, everybody that can't read, is not everybody that just gonna sit back and take your big figures and make it seem, well, yeah, big numbers calling.
But it actually is a little bit of concern if you have. I mean, they say they put it into it's projected $100 million into the agricultural sector, and for the 75 million, the first $75 million, I don't know where that go through. I don't know where that passed.
The other day, I was listening to when the budget was being read in the House of Parliament, and Senator Paris brought up some of them figures as well. He said that they budget for these monies, but then they don't use maybe but a third of the money, maybe even less than a third. You know what I'm saying? So you budgeting big and still don't use the money, and then you budget in small on certain aspects, and then say, oh well, we need more to get to, for that aspect. Why are we doing that? Is something wrong with our financing? Is our budgeting? Look! The other day, they were saying that the airport project gonna cost maybe an extra $1 billion, an additional $1 billion to the first $1 billion, then $2 billion, now an additional $1 billion. Now make a $3 billion project.
Boy.
What is really going on?
And the thing is, the issue I have is that they're not coming in, and they're not coming and give accountability. They're not telling you that this is where we're at, why we say we would need that. We came across some structural issues. We came across some whatever. None of that.
None of them things.
None of that. And I know it's a big project, but people need to be comfortable if all those millions passing.
Not millions, sir. Sorry.
Billions.
Billion. Quote. Billion. But let me not even go in the airport scenario. Let's just stick to the agriculture and our food security. So I believe these trade wars, that's my personal opinion, I believe that these trade wars are about to make or break the Caribbean as a region.
Yeah.
And I believe that we need to band together as a group of islands, as CARICOM, and as the OECS region, and put ourselves in a better predicament for food security. We need to start better trade between our islands so that we can have better food security.
Yeah. So you see where a good relationship with your sister islands would make sense.
Yeah,
but then again, that is what we would want to see: more sustainable development in here. So it's able to sustain itself over a period of time.
Of course. And that's when they had Rubio the other day in the Caribbean, the Secretary Rubio in the Caribbean talk. Those are the ideas. Those are the ideas that they should have brought to this man and say we need help in creating a better unison within the Caribbean region.
Yeah.
Instead of him coming down here and talking about Cuba and doctors and whatever they do and whatever, I don't know. Those are the things that they should have stopped him and say, no, we don't need you here for that. We need you here. Either you're going to help us figure this thing out or just leave us alone. Simple as that.
Wow.
Because we need better food security. We need a better climate resilient food. We don't need these GMO things. The amount of food we importing in Dominica, the amount of chicken we importing in Dominica.
We importing, yeah.
The amount of Goya sauce, the amount of all them things that we can
do those things
ourselves on island. Those are the things. You get the raw product on island, you refine the raw product.
Yeah.
That is what brings you better food security, that brings employment for the people, that also keeps your economy and your dollar in your country. Because when you have to go and buy the chicken outside, who are getting that money for the chicken?
Exactly, it's outside.
It's not us. It's not the local man. It will trickling back down to the local man. A local man might sell a chicken in his store. Yes, he fry a chicken and sell it for you. But now it could have it could have been you get a chicken from the local man, so that's $1. Then he still go back and buy the same chicken he sell in the store to fry at home or to cook his food later. So it keeps the money circulating. We can make it in terms of food. We in the Caribbean don't need America. That is true. We don't need America. That is very true. But we solely depend on America. That is where we at now. We solely depend on them, and we killing ourselves because the food in America is not the best.
Not the best.
The food in America is not the best. Certain countries don't even want American food on their shelves. They don't want their Cheetos, a lot of their products, they don't want them on their shelves. But we know everything we want is American.
Is America.
When we can make our own food in our own island. That is what
and it would be more, it should be of a higher quality, you know.
Of course. Watch that, the other day. I ate a banana. And that the banana make me go back and think of the bananas I was eating back home. I say, but wait. This thing here don't have no taste compared to what I was eating back home.
But I know.
The thing don't have no taste compared to what I was eating back home. So apparently, we have mass production here, but we have quality production in Dominica.
In Dominica. Yeah.
So that's what I was telling Drex the other night. He was saying our agricultural produce wouldn't go down or go up in pricing, but it can go down or go up in pricing based on the mass production and the quality. I want mass production in America. I don't want quality. That's what they're looking for. They're looking for abundance. We can't provide abundance. We can provide quality. That's two different things, you know. So if we can secure our borders by producing quality products and then refining said quality products and do it massively, is a different thing. For instance, this morning I was listening to a video from a guy from Benz, a Rasta fella. He was saying that we have some of the best bananas, but still that we importing plantain chips. Still that we importing cassava chips. We importing this chip, that chip. Why don't we use our local farmer to produce our own chip, produce our own this, our own that, so we can, so the trade war wouldn't affect us in no kind of a way? Because especially on food, anyways, it might affect us on clothes, but on food, no. And then too, on clothes, the banana husk can be turned into fabric. You get what I'm saying? We can grow the same weed thing about the weed industry they're trying to develop there. We can also grow our hemp and make our own fabric, so then we don't have to import cloth from nowhere. Those are the things. Those are the things that we have to think outside of the box. We have to start thinking outside of the box. Couldn't see you on his way home. Well, we need you to come and give some agricultural aspect on this thing here, so. Because I want to know about this abattoir thing this man talk about there. You know, those are the things. We have to start thinking outside of the box and help Dominica become a greater nation now. Because where we at here right now, we going under. We going under. And I am not saying that our government now doesn't have ideas, but you also need to implement those ideas in a faster and a speedier way than the way in which you guys doing it here now. You know,
and we need the project to start and come to a completion.
Exactly.
We wanted to start and fall off because some other thing happened, and then I don't know. But as we notice and observe, is a very reactive kind of a vibe that's going on currently, and it's hitting us hard. It hitting us very hard.
Say hi. Say hey yo. Yeah, man. So, boss, my brother, please remove that propaganda story.
On your screen.
Take on the propaganda story on the screen. Peter, is that propaganda? Is what the Minister of Agriculture said. What's his name? Minister Roy.
Roy. Roland Roy.
Yo,
look at there.
Dominican strengthen food security amid global trade tension. Boy. OPM press room. Well, go on, Lydian. Good. We'll be with you guys in a bit.
Yeah. Definitely.
We hear you, Clint. I just want somebody who can give me some agricultural feedback, because I am not too much of an agriculturalist, so I don't know much about agriculture, but I have common sense. Definitely. And I can tell you when foolishness is being pushed down our throat. So listen to this.
What's up, my beautiful people? You don't know. Give thanks and praise for the Most High Yahweh, the Messiah Yasha. You don't know. As Israelite people, you don't know. You know, as we, as Dominicans, as people, you know. Well, first of all, me, Raskewi, Styles, you know, me have a program, you know. And I think me and Shatta, True Shatta, Joel Carbon, yeah, man, we're gonna be working on some. I don't want to say, but we're gonna socialize with the people because we need to interact because, like, you know, the youth like me and Shatta and Flex and, you know, the all of us that have the intelligence is like, we need, like, with artists, so we need to express what we know from music. But yet still, if people don't understand a lot of things, when we be saying things, you might say, but what kind of madness we speaking of? You understand? It's like, for example, like everybody, you like using oil, but then where the oil come from? So you're talking oil? I mean oil. I mean frying oil, cooking oil, vegetable oil. Vegetable oil? I mean, for real? Can anyone please tell me which vegetable has oil to be extracted from?
Can somebody tell me which vegetable have oil to be extracted from?
No, people, this is the kind of things that we're going to be discussing. Things like how comes coconut, like powdered coconut and the cream milk coconut is being imported from Trinidad when Trinidad do not have the rich coconut that we have. Yet still in Benz, where I'm from, close to Hampstead, which is the coconut capital of the world, we are importing these things. Now we are that kind of chips thing they're making with the plantain chips, both the ripe and the green. Now they're making cassava with it. Now they're making dashing with it. Now I understand they have big chips coming out right from Costa Rica, shipped to Jamaica, biscuit distributors, and then they distribute that to the Caribbean. So then we get that in our country. And I want you and tell me, we don't have no fig, we don't have no cassava, we don't have dashing, we don't have plantain. Yo, people, come on, man. Me here, we are a coffee factory. We're supposed to have a canning of our fruits and our juices and our vegetables and them things there. You understand? It's like.
So you hear what the man say? We have a coffee factory that never produced 1 grain of coffee yet. But still yet we have a coffee factory on 1 mile and that mash up. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are the things. You waste how much billions of dollars to build a coffee factory that never use. Reality is different. Don't get me wrong. Mr. Royer is a good man, but he's sitting in a Zatwap. What is that? What does that mean?
We don't know what that is, but okay.
Let me continue. Let me continue with the young man's speech.
We don't checking up on our resources. What kind of thing is that in the land? Now, before we go to the government, now we, our people, we need to start supporting our thing.
True.
Because when me and Chushata and them make some good local music and good conscious, positive local music, we not see it get the play like how them other artists from other islands get it. This is our thing. You check, you can never tell. You could see one of us up on a big screen there, international, taking out money from where each part of the world there, and bring right here to our currency in Dominica to big up our economy. You understand? So people then, if we don't do that, then how you expect we to rise? If every time that we have to buy just a little simple seasoning, we have to go for seasoning. You have to go into the shop. Because imported, so everything of our life in Dominica is imported, and we are the nature island. So what are we nature island for? Youths, no. And you see the thing is, they blame the youths. Not supposed to blame the youths, because the youths is the future. So which means in the back, then you never program for what is to come. You know, the youth them raise up checking like, see no benefit for the agriculture. But those who was there before should have put certain things in place so that the youths and never come now. They can say, well, instead of we dealing for raw material, you know, we could package that and put that in the shop.
I'm telling you, it have people in Dominica that about the real business, you know. They're just not getting the push that they need. A young man that they're talking there, you know.
But we have $75 million going into agricultural livelihoods. So,
but how many people has it impacted?
Maybe you distribute yet. Maybe you distribute yet. You check?
That's the thing that bothering me. Oh, a Zapwa is a trap. Okay. So that's the thing that is troubling me. Peter, we have $75 million going into 100 million. Don't get it wrong. 100 million going into agriculture. But how many people has it impacted? How many people can say they directly benefited from this $100 million? We have the raw material, but we also need to refine said raw material. We need to stop having the raw material and sending it other places. Antigua getting our planting
get processed and processing it.
And shipping it out.
Let me tell you something. So the excuse can't be without raw material, because persons getting it from us to process it. The issue has to be is why don't we see value in processing what we have?
In what we have.
Which we know is the main thing.
A box of planting that we're selling for $20-something, or how much dollars they're selling it for.
Mm-hmm.
We can now save that same box of planting there now and make maybe $800 off of a box of planting, because you can make how much chips from one planting?
From one
grain of planting, you're making how much bag of chips from it?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? With refinement. Let me continue.
Look at the comment there. Let's read that fast before we back into it. You see, agriculture has lost definition in Dominica. We are struggling to keep up. We need a pilot.
Mm-hmm.
We need passengers and still landing strip. Where have the 80s gone? I'm confused as to what to expect in the next few years. Finger crossed, hoping for the best. A concerned citizen right there.
Hey, my brother James, I hoping for the best too. Because trust and believe me, it makes no sense the way in which our agriculture has dropped. But and even though we don't say, okay, back in the day we used to ship bananas to England. That was our main export, banana planting, sending it to England. Okay, England no longer buying our bananas. Why don't we take our bananas, utilize that, and make a raw material? You can make flour from bananas, fig flour.
Of course.
They don't want our bananas, but they can take our fig flour. They can take our fig chips. You know, just stick it. That's why I keep saying you have to think outside of the damn box, man. We can't keep staying in the box and think, oh yeah, it's the only thing we can sell is fig. The only thing we can sell is planting.
And
agriculture. If you have the same mindset of the 80s, the people in the 80s and thinking, well, yeah, it's fig alone we're gonna depend on, we lost. We are not producing enough. Yes, we can produce quality, but we can't produce quantity. And what the world wants right now is quantity in a fast way, which we as Dominicans are not being able to produce. But we can produce quality raw material of what we call that, refined material.
Mm-hmm.
We can produce quantity and quality of refined products. Stop selling ourselves short and thinking we only have to go and sell the raw product. We need to start refining the product so that our product can then be taken seriously on the market. How you think Grace have their stuff in all body shelf all over the world?
Exactly.
Jamaica refine their product. They're not selling their bell peppers, just sending it overseas. They refine their product. We have peppers, we have fig, we have plantain, we have dashing, we have everything. We need to first landlock areas to which we can grow specific crops. First thing, landlock areas where we can grow specific crops, decide what crops are going to be grown there, and find market and strategize in which way we're going to refine our product. Stop trying to sell our raw material to Tom, Dick, and Harry, and Tom, Dick, and Harry taking it and using our raw material and refining
it. Yeah.
Antigua probably making billions of dollars on our planting.
Yes.
Our raw material when we selling it to them for nothing. Let me, Mr. James, how much you selling a box of planting to Antigua? Things I never want to be around. Things I never want to be to around me in Dominica. I'm in America buying it. Dominica is rich. Dominica is a very
rich place.
Oh, we need to use what we have. Definitely need to use what we have. When I'm in Dominica, I doesn't eat fig. But in America, you're eating pig black is blue. You get what I'm saying? Take me off the screen real quick. I come in right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. James, can you give us the rough pricing of how much you sell a box of plantain in Antigua? Looking at that pricing there. Looking at that pricing right there. And then the next question I'm gonna ask, because just thinking about it, is it too expensive for us to start processing our agriculture? I'm asking a question there, Richie, because I want to know, is it that it's too expensive to start processing it? Yes, I
have yours, I have yours.
Okay,
I'll
all
send it
right.
on to you just now.
All right. All right. Look, we get a comment from him. He says England hasn't say they don't want our bananas. We need to get quality and quantity in a marriage. This is simple. One, set up an assigned agency to guide these selected farmers. Two, assign the selected portion of land to govern the required market standard. Simple.
Exactly.
Simple.
Exactly. Exactly.
Simple.
Planting retail for $2
or more a pound per
pound.
pound per pound. So you can say $2.25 per pound or
Per
$2.50
pound.
per pound. All right.
But how much you buying? How much you buying it in Dominica for? maybe
Yes, sir,
maybe
boy.
75 cents, 80 cents a pound.
80 cents, boy.
I
80
don't
cents
know
is a bliss.
Don't quote me. I don't know the price. But just join in reference. Because you wouldn't go and sell it for what you buy.
Exactly.
You understand what I mean? You wouldn't sell it for what you buy. But let us make it make sense. We have the raw materials, my people. Like Cliff said, England hasn't said that they won't buy our bananas.
Or bananas.
We need to get quality. Okay, so you buy it for $1 a pound and sell it for $2.
No, just reference you join in. They may not reflect actual figures, eh?
Figures, true. So understand that. So a box holding 20 something pounds or something like that per box. So that's $40. Let's say $20 a box, $22 a box. You're selling the box now for $44. You understand what I'm saying? You're doubling your price, basically.
So,
Well, let me finish. Let me just read over Cliff comment there real quick before we continue. England hasn't said that they don't want our bananas. We need to get quality and quantity in a marriage. This is simple. First up, an assigned agency to guide these selected farmers. Second, an assigned selected portion of land to govern the required market. Exactly right. You see that land we have on Londonderry there. I think that is a good maybe 10 acres where Miss Lynn and Cocky was planting the banana. Right? See that land there? That land there can be turned into a massive farm just for production of bananas or planting, whichever one we want. Look, Wednesday also said we do bananas planting, breadfruit, cocoa, sweet potato, cassava, tanya, dashing, push, pumpkin, and more local. If you ask me, this country is home for millionaires. That is true. And the flour, that is. So you see, he taking the raw material and turning it into flour. You know, the other day I bought some but what flour I buy now, boy? I buy some wet flour, I go in a store and I buy some wet flour, not the normal flour. And that the flour is in a pound. And it's selling for like maybe $10 a pound.
Yeah.
The normal flour will sell for $2-3. But that pound is some flour I bought. It's $10 a pound. We have them kind of things there, so we have the raw material. Boy, I don't know what we need to do for our country and for our people to realize our potential. Dominica is very blessed, like Peter said. We're home for millionaires. We are the homeland for millionaires and billionaires, but we have to put and utilize what we have.
We have.
We need our people, our leaders, and them to take us seriously and make it make sense so that we as the people can become empowered, self-empowered. You know, back in the day, the amount of self-empowered people we had in Wesley Marigot area. You know, the amount of self-empowered people we had in St. Joseph area based on what they was producing.
Producing,
You know what? The amount of self-empowered people we had in Benz when the Douglases and them had that farm where they were baking the copra. You know, the amount of self-empowered people we had. People that wasn't dependent on nobody to come and give them no handout. That's why the country they wasn't able to vote for whoever they want and nobody could tell them nothing. Right now, to vote for them people that or for whoever they control in your life, or you're not gonna work anything no more, or you're not gonna get this no more, you're not gonna get that no more. Is that how we want to live our life, yo? I don't want to turn this into a politics thing.
Political thing, but that's reality. That's reality. Yeah.
I just want to show people, yo. People back then was self-sufficient and self-reliant. They didn't need no politician to give them nothing, no cool out, no nothing. Wow. Understand that, my people. Come out of that thing all you have going on where all you have to be so dependent on a politician to give you something. Because when they give you, they want back something in return.
Always.
They're not giving it to you just because, I'm giving it to you. There's always a catch. There's always something. I want back something.
There's always that catch.
We have a nation to build. Dominica is ours. Like the fella was saying in the video, in the voice that I was just playing. We have to start doing it for ourselves. Forget about government. Forget about everything else and start doing it for ourselves. Self-motivation.
Look at quick example. I'm gonna give somebody a business plan. When it's mango season, the mangoes are dirty in the road, and you tell me what to buy mango in a little box drink. No man.
Mr. Roll.
Brother.
We on the agriculture tonight. Because the Minister of Agriculture put out a statement today, and we find it rather dumbfounding that we've been speaking about this topic many a times before, and it's today he bringing out this statement that they put almost $100 million into agriculture. I gotta ask you a question before you say anything else. How long now has the abattoir been in Dominica?
Boy, I got 10 years already, right?
You serious?
Show this statement again, Fido, where this man said the abattoir is now under construction.
Yeah.
In his statement.
Yeah, because some kind of thing happened.
Okay.
Something go on, with the first abattoir. I can't remember directly how, but something went on with that, and to me they're making another one. I don't know.
So over the past,
look at here. They say as part of its strategy to boost food and nutrition security, the government has allocated over $7 million to build climate-resilient livestock pens and is currently constructing a $6.4 million abattoir for chicken and pork.
Yeah, I don't want to say too much on that because I don't really have the correct vibes. But I think somebody in the meat business is utilizing the old one, the one where they building like back. Yeah, I think somebody utilizing that space and they doing another one somewhere. I don't know. I don't have the facts on that.
Okay.
I'd rather have the facts. But something going on there.
Because I know we had an abattoir. So for him to say that we constructed one now, it just sounded crazy to me.
Well, maybe the first one didn't meet their standard, so they build another one, I guess.
Then we
but you see, everything. everything they do is about politics. It's not about really government and Dominica or governance and Dominica. It's always politics. So yeah,
That
you
is
see
that is bad.
election, you see election coming, right?
Eh.
So a lot of things happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
All you really think election gonna call us? I don't
Oh
think
yes, oh
election
yes.
gonna
Oh,
call.
yes.
Like
So
just
it's
me.
gonna
I just don't see it.
give me 1 second there, just 1 second.
Yeah.
Uh,
I, I don't see it for real. If you see election gonna call there, that is boy. Why? Why call an election now? What's the purpose?
you want to understand, but if okay, I gonna ask you another question. So why not call it now?
Okay, why not call it now?
Yes.
You are in the middle of construction of an international airport.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
You are starting the construction of a marina in Portsmouth.
Go ahead.
You are undergoing a major road project from Marigot to Portsmouth.
Mm-hmm.
Why start it now?
But when have those things ever stopped that from happening?
I am not saying they're gonna stop it from happening, but I'm just saying that you have a lot of investments going on.
Going on.
If you want my vote, let me say that. You want me to vote for you. Show me, make sure the runway show, so I can say, okay, well, yeah, we have a runway, we have an airport, we're gonna, I will vote for you for that. Show me the marina being built. Where all the promises that you made? First, you made a promise you're gonna enhance Roseau. That hasn't been done. You received the funds, the $40 million from the Arabian king or prince, and the money was never utilized to enhance Roseau.
They make one, they put a ship around and thing. That ship around. A resurfacing. Yeah.
I just respect you as a pastor. Don't tempt my.
They do that. If they do it, they do it. But we don't know if that is considered as. We don't know if that is considered. We don't know if that is considered Roseau. You gotta be very technical too.
No, don't tempt me tonight to consider. No, so that liquor strip road is $40 million.
We don't know because they don't make these things public for us, so we can just assume maybe. Okay. Maybe we have high quality. Maybe we imported the materials for that strip of road. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, man, we imported it, man. Yeah, man, that's $40 million. Good. All right, so $40 million strip of road on the beachfront, and you put up some better things. $40 million gone.
Yeah.
Foolishness.
Yeah.
Now you're doing a road to Grand Bay, Pishley Grand Bay area. From Layu. No. Why is that place the Newtown area? Why is that place then? I don't know the name. Newtown going up to Grand Bay area this. They're fixing a road this.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Loubier Road is being fixed. I mean, come on, my brother. It's a lot of. Let me tell you this. I commend the government on doing major road projects. I commend them due to the fact that I have traveled a lot around this country, not the country, around the world. I have traveled a lot around this world, and I have seen roads in certain places, and we have some good road.
We don't have no good road.
Jack, stop that.
I say we don't have no good road.
Listen to me. Stop that. Yeah. I was in St. Thomas the other day. And the road in St. Thomas is hill and valley. Hills and valleys.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about the road and hills and valleys. I'm talking about the road itself. It's hill and valley.
Yes. And we know why that's happening.
Pothole care done everywhere. We have some good
So
roads in Dominica.
So what happened down here now?
We have some good roads in Dominica.
It's good road. There's the money they spend for those roads there. They want the money the government spend for those roads there and they mash up already. Watch how long, Richie, watch how long Freedom Party build the road from Portsmouth to Hatton Garden. Now we mashing up way after 40-something years.
But he mashed up now because I was watching a video on Marigot.
And watch that. And watch that. Road they build between now and 2014. They're doing they're doing resurfacing on them already. So it tells you the road I'm doing building good. But go Caribbean and you see problem.
They would already match up in
Already match up?
No man, me are mashing up. Go Caribbean and you will see like telling you.
I
Huh?
asking the question. I don't know.
But they're gonna Richie, they're gonna have to start to patch Caribbean road already. I need to finish yet.
But you don't lie on them. Don't lie.
So,
You want me to go up there tomorrow? Wait. You want me to go up there tomorrow with my camera and show you
No
what I'm talking about?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
please.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Tomorrow morning I have to go Marriott and drop some money. I'll take a drive and go up there tomorrow. And I'll show you what I'm talking about.
That doesn't make
All right.
sense. They were
Richie.
not complete yet.
But you think, but okay,
They were not complete yet.
and it matched up already. So you must understand.
Remember the
Because
government have plenty money to account for, you know. And they have to find a way to account for it.
They have to spend it some way, somehow. They have to spend money
Right.
somehow.
Now we know how money does turn, so you know that as well. Let's go on the agriculture now.
Yes. So we have some other alternatives instead of sending our raw material to overseas. And then Cliff gave us a very good point. Let me go back, bring it back up so you can hear what the point Cliff said. Cliff said England hasn't refused, or England hasn't said they don't want our bananas. We need to
I
get
keep telling you.
quality and quantity in a marriage. This is simple. First up, an assigned agency to guide the selected farmers. Second, an assign a selected portion of land to govern the required market standard.
Yep.
And I have to use that. I need that.
Can I take my time and elaborate on that?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Okay.
Not too long of a time. You have 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. You see, I've been telling you guys in Europe 20 years ago, 22, 23 years ago, we did business with Sainsbury's, we did business with Tesco, Waitrose, and Marks and Spencer's. Those were at the time the 4 largest supermarket chain system in Europe, in England, wherever, Europe. And they never said that they don't want Dominica banana. So today we are in full right to ask the government, why did they discontinue? And we have a clear idea what they're going to say. Like they had said before, they cannot afford to sustain a has-been industry. Now, to me, a has-been industry for raw materials would mean that nobody want to buy from you again. But it's the other way around. Those supermarkets wanted quality banana. We had one thing going for us, and it is still going for us, opposed to the dollar banana from Central America. One, our banana have a better taste. And Richie, you know, because you live in the States.
Of course.
Right. That was the first thing we have going for us. So all that had to happen, we had to just use technology. Technology, my brother, you can't come now and gain farmer folk to dig fig hole.
Nope.
What you have to do is give Fido the financing to bring in all mechanical tools. And he could rent them for Richie and rent them for Clint to go and dig his fig hole. You could give Richie the ability to do a tissue culture farm, where Richie would employ people into the tissue culture system and provide the farmers in Dominica plants by the million. Yes, Dominicans can afford to plant more than 1 million fig tree. Then you would give another person, they only have some already, like the Jacko feed and the, what's the man name again? The man in the center over there. He was the minister of agriculture one time.
Ambrose?
He does sell fertilizer, Ambrose George, and Boz Enterprise, and people like that to bring in fertilizer. and other necessary chemicals for banana production. That is the way they had to go. You didn't have no other way for them to go. The only other thing they had to do, along tissue culture lines, what they had to do was to discontinue the use of bananas and plantains that are susceptible to the sigatoka. There are banana strains in the world that are resistant to sigatoka. There are banana strains in the world that are semi-resistant. I can use one, the Williams. You understand? They could continue to subsidize the banana industry. They could. We have enough money in Dominica to subsidize the banana industry. And one more thing before I go. Right now, Sainsbury's, Tesco, Marks and Spencer's, and Waitrose, they are not only interested in bananas.
Exactly.
They are also interested in tanya, dashing, potato, ginger, turmeric, banana plantain, and other crops. They're interested in spices and make it even better. We have what the world wants. Water. You don't think we can have a good bottling company in Dominica to ship containers of water to the same supermarket there?
Of course.
Huh? Right. So that's the way for us to go.
I like your timing. You're right on point with your timing. You're fine.
Yeah, right on point. Yeah. So what Cliff's saying there is correct vibes.
Yeah.
But of course.
Yeah, correct vibes. Trust me.
And also Peter hit us with this comment. Peter said that he makes his company, we products do banana, plantain, breadfruit, cocoa, sweet potato, cassava, tanya, dashing, push, pumpkin, and more flour. They're making flour from the raw material.
Let me stop you again. In 2000, around 2018, 19, about there, when I came back to Dominica in 2019, people like Dr. Dave Lloyd, PhD, these guys, together with a young man, he was the general manager for DAPEX at the time. That would be Errol Emmanuel. They wanted to establish flour production in Dominica, and the way to do that was to introduce Dominica to a different type of breadfruit, because breadfruit flour is the most healthy flour it has. Okay? So they brought in a strain of breadfruit from Indonesia down there. It's a short pepper tree. It does make plenty. The production is very high. And them guys try to run that through the system. Even Fido, you see those long bananas I have on the by me up there? Right. Those bananas they brought in, a strain of bananas, it doesn't get no sigatoka. But the only thing about it is that it is not for ripening. It is for cooking, Right. We could market ourselves in that.
You can use that
about the flour, yes. And they wanted to do that in Dominica. Them guys did a lot of work in terms of that. And they fight it down. Why? Because they assume those guys are not pro-labor. See where I'm coming from? That's the kind of ignorance we live with in Dominica. I mean, yes, we can jump around and curse them and curse labor until Jesus Christ comes. But at the end of the day, you have more intricate things to think about them. Right now, you don't need to even curse them, because now they're going to come and tell they bring in $100 million in agriculture. Fine. But are they securing any markets for production? Nope.
Exactly. And I didn't worry about markets. Forget the market. Let us focus on refining our raw material so we can maximize profitability.
Processing it.
Yes, you can have a market for some raw material, but refinement is the way to go. Refinement is the way forward. Clip showed us a simple example. Imagine he buying a box of banana, a plantain, $1 a pound, right? He's selling it I think $2 and a little bit more. Whatever.
Yeah.
But you can still take 1 pound of plantain, 1 pound, and make
Yes.
$20.
Yes.
With 1 plantain there.
Yes.
That is the mindset we need to have. Forget about the raw material selling. I'm not saying you can't sell raw material. But
I know another thing. The world is so interested in organic products. You know, we could find ourselves. You hear me clear?
Yeah. Loud and
Yeah,
clear.
we could find ourselves in a niche market system with those same 4 supermarkets there. We go into
Yeah, of
planting production, and then we go into raw material, not the raw material, the byproducts of it. So we make chips, we can make flour, all those kind of things that we're planting.
We're planting.
You
And watch
understand?
that. We can even go into the organic side of it too. When
Yeah.
you see that seaweed we have that coming in on our shore there by the ponds. We use that same seaweed there, wash it out in the river, take out a lot of the salt and sodium in there, use foul dung, mix the seaweed and the foul dung together and create our own manure. So then now we have it our own natural, refined, organic compound to put in our produce to ship out.
Yeah.
Ask the Bajans what they're doing with it.
I don't talk foolishness, sometimes, but you know what?
No. You're talking no foolishness, you're talking reality. It's reality with us talking. Why you think people just follow the line? And why you think people just quarrel when we give people their blues, the necessary blues? People just meet me and tell me, you shouldn't say that. But yes, I love to say those things. You understand? Yeah. So, like I said, to come now with $100 million in agriculture, you know how long Dominica been aching for that kind of injection there in agriculture across the board, and nothing never happened.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing never happened. So you're coming now at its weakest point. Agriculture is now at its weakest point in Dominica. It's a fact. People are not productive. The only people I see that can benefit from agriculture right now is the politician them. Because they have everything. I mean, I can carry around Dominica and show you the farm them, you know.
Wow.
I know where they farm them there. You understand? I drive around, we pick up load all the time. When we go a place and we see a farm and we ask the farmer who for there, they're gonna tell me that is for Fido or that is for Richie. That kind of thing. So that's how we get to know who have what. You understand? Yeah. So maybe the 100 million they injecting into the agriculture, they hope to take 75 from it.
Okay, could be. We don't know.
Well,
but I myself I'm not too sure how that 75 was dispersed already. So
no, what I mean is no. Let me explain myself. The government coming now and putting $100 million in agriculture. But the farmers don't have the capacity to receive that kind of funding. They don't have the output. So they might end up maybe receiving about 18 to 20% of that in terms of sales. Who that selling the most plantain in Dominica now? No politician? Who have the most avocado now one-on-one? Is no politician? And even now they're still taking plant by the truckload to carry on the farm and plant. They're so greedy, they don't say, well, okay, feed a vote for me, let me give him 5 petri for him to plant behind his house. No, they're taking all. Who are the most lime tree in Dominica? No politician? And they're still coming on the radio and tell you there's a large market for lime in Dominica. Or they say farmers lime have whatever disease it is. Or they go all around Dominica, or they cut down people lime tree. Huh? They forbid people from propagating lime plants for themselves. So you have to buy it from the state. And yet, when the state propagated, who taking the most lime plant? Politician, because why? It's them that have the money to buy. So the average farmer don't have money. So they know that 100 million there. the largest share in production money for it go to the politician because they have the most.
I get you.
The rest of it gonna be bureaucracy, new transport for this, new transport for that, and new office this and office that. That's what they just do.
Wow.
Well, I can say this, eh? Dominica need to take back Dominica. Not in a hostile way, not in a we gonna fight down things. We need to start to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. Forget about the government. Forget about
No, you can't forget about the government.
not in the sense of forgetting about them in a way that we always have to depend on them to give us everything.
No, the way you have to remember them is, as a citizen in Dominica, we need to pull them out. We need to ask them the necessary question. Like I said to you, I can come to you and cuss you down and tell you you're ugly, and tell you overgrew, and tell you you're dunce, and all those things there. Yes, I can tell those things there, but at the end of the day, you mightn't get anywhere with it. So it will be more sensible to pull them out. Force them to a forum. It's not because we're going to cuss you. We just want you to explain to us what are really happening and where we go from there. Because even if you come and tell me you have 20,000 or something in Rosso, fine. I will come for the $20,000. But I may want to multiply that money there. So when I reinvest that money there, what do I expect? Do I expect to go by Richie and I have 6,000-7,000 planting, and I gonna beg Richie if you can take 400 pounds from me? That's not what we want.
No.
We want a market. Even if you don't get in dollar for a pound, even if it's 75 cents a pound, but we want a market. When they call me for 20,000-30,000 pounds of planting, I can tell them, yes, I have that. You want more? That kind of a thing. Like how we see in the 80s and the 90s with bananas. People used to plant banana and it must sell.
Yes.
So you need to beef up agriculture where people will plant dashing because they know it must sell. People will plant tanya because they know it must sell. And all the other crops then because they know it must sell. But you can't have a person going out there and plant 200 planting and expect him to make mileage on that. No, he don't have mileage. That is just for him to run his home.
That's your backyard. That's a backyard farm.
But you can't build nothing on for that. You can't build nothing on that. Absolutely nothing. And it's a fact. I don't have to ask somebody that. I don't need no minister for agriculture to go and explain that to me. I already know that already.
And Fido was making a point earlier, Drex. A juicing factory where we can juice our own produce. For instance, when it's mango season, mango knocking, dog falling down. When it's guava season, guava knocking, dog falling down. Those are the things why we can't bottle our own fruits instead of importing them things there. So we importing juice. Dominica should be putting our own juice on the shelf.
Richie.
Yes.
What month is it? April?
Yeah, April.
Yes,
right. Richie, all mango tree in Dominica loaded way.
Okay then.
Right. And guess what? You know, we importing mango juice, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they want a mango that making acid in Dominica.
The honorable said, Clint, we and the government need to go chase supermarkets and others to secure our regional markets and increase sales. Definitely.
Yeah. Why is it?
A processing plant we need. Say that read it again. Oh, you reading right there.
I don't share Tony's opinion on that one, you know.
We and the government need to go
to chase.
Huh?
When he said to chase, but what do you mean? Because look at the format and shipload for chase. So I wonder if it's that chase they talking about, or if it's to run. If it's to run behind supermarket, so he need to join the live, Tony. Tony, join the live. Let's have a conversation. I don't understand what you say.
Because Tony's an agriculture. Yes, Tony's an agricultural person. Let me send him the link, see if you will come on. Tony so don't want to talk. Tony so don't want to talk on here again.
No, tonight not about politics, man. We're not talking about politics tonight. I don't want to talk about no politics tonight.
Nah, we no politics.
Nah.
Yes, he said yes, that is Chase. Yes, that is Chase. So
Which Chase?
Go to the Chase supermarket. I'm not coming on, he said. Go to the Chase supermarket.
Well. Here we go again.
Processing plants we need. We need processing plants.
No. Here we go again. I do expect the state, the government to go by chasing Antigua. No. I expect the state to go to extra regional markets in Europe, in Canada, in the US. Big market.
Bigger market.
Yes, big market where you're gonna see containers getting ready to leave the country. Leave Chase and Epicurean and First Choice and them there for the little hawks that them are there around in Dominica. Is that for us, man? Let me see what I can do with that still on the side there. And guess what?
That makes sense.
If the government put things in place for man to sell things like how I want to sell things, I don't even studying about hawks or trade.
Oh, that's exactly what I can say. The hawks and trade gonna become obsolete because once the market is there to where you can sell, it doesn't make no sense to be a hawkster no more. The hawkster came about after bananas kind of dwindled down.
No, it was always there. No, it was always there. But the thing is, it had more people in it now than before. You understand? It was always there. But John is saying,
instead of that monument they have in 1 mile saying there's a coffee factory, that should be a juicing factory instead. It can be transformed into something. That is definitely true. Is it definitely true?
You have a lot of monuments. You have plenty of monuments in Dominica, you know. Plenty of them. What you saying?
Chase going outside the region. So we need the government in the region to restrict those supermarkets to buy regional.
No, you cannot say that, Tony. Let me tell you why you cannot say that. There is something they passed in 2007. It's something to do with marketing. What's the term again? Lord, the term slipping me. It's like a free trade thing. You cannot tell a person where to go and buy or stuff like that. What can happen? Our government can go outside there and lobby on behalf of Dominica. Because so far, people like me and Tony himself, Gaddafi and the Prevo and them and whoever else, Cliff and them, we lobby to a certain extent. And the only lobby we do is like a micro thing. I can go by Chase and tell Chase, okay, I can give you 2,000 pounds of plantains.
Yeah.
No, 2,000 pounds of plantains. I can do my best to give you consistent quality, consistent production, that kind of thing there. That's the kind of lobby we do. But we only do that in reality, in a guess. Because, because the first 5 times I give it to you, and the next 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, I issue to get it to give it to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's going to force you not reach your Chase. If you cannot get what you want from Dominica, then I can try St. Vincent or I can try Jamaica. But then no, if you have a system in place where the government going to come and say, okay, we're going to pump money in agriculture, and then we're going to use the Ministry of Trade to go there and lobby on behalf of farmers. And then you're going to have seminars with the hucksters. Some of them might need financing. So you put things in place, not to frustrate them to get the money, but to make them applicable in the whole thing. That's what you're going to do. And then you're going to find people going to move at the same time. You're going to try to meet supermarkets in Canada, and you're going to promote what you have. So you may have a set of people doing organic farming. You cannot take 100% of market share in Canada, but you can offer them 5-7% of market share. and be consistent about it. Then you go to Tesco and the other three of them, Sainsbury, Max and Spencer's, Waitrose, and you do the same thing. So then for Europe alone, I remember in the 80s, 90s, say 50,000 tons of bananas will work out to, do the maths. 50,000 times 40 pounds. Okay, 50,000 times a ton is 2104. Yeah, 2104. And you divide that by 40.
It's about $2 million.
No, in dollars, boxes.
Or 2 million boxes then.
2 million boxes a year. Now, if I know, just for those 4 supermarkets there, we can produce 2 million boxes of bananas. My brother, I planting banana and planting like there's no tomorrow. You have so much land in Dominica that owned by estate. What you can do is change the land policy and ask them, the landowners that have land that are abandoned, list the land out to people that are willing to farm. You know what I'm saying? And then you use the technology, you use your technology in farming and forecasting. So you can tell a supermarket, okay, in the next 6 months, I can give you, let's say, 200,000 boxes. And then following that, I can raise my production to 600,000 boxes.
Yeah.
So by that cycle, a full cycle there, for a year, I can give you 50,000 tons of bananas. If you see I go with it. You understand? But you have a serious regime in forecasting. You bring in people that can do the job, that can forecast properly. You have a proper extension service in place, and that will happen. But as it is now, Viti we just talking. Now you want to go in the same space, Richie more than Antigua. Maybe Fido is the owner for the supermarket. Richie more than Fido is friend. So Richie, they don't hear Richie say, I talked to my mother, she and Fido don't stop. She tell Fido she want 100, let me say 50 bucks of planting every week. The government, that Tony telling me, they want to go there too. Leave that for Richie.
Yeah, leave that for me.
Because what's that? Sometimes the 50 bucks of planting, Fido need. Richie can supply her with it. But somebody else, Richie might give her, let's say 25 bucks. Somebody might give them another 10. Somebody might give them another 50 or that kind of thing for them to meet them. So I mean, leave that for the little hawks that are trying to make a living, that kind of thing. And let's look at bigger market. If you're going to put money in agriculture, put it for bigger market. Don't put it for us to go into production. And when we have the production, we're going to force him to sell it.
Okay.
And competing with the little man that's trying to make $2 himself.
But that's what they're doing. They're going to go through next year. They're going to go Antigua. And they're going to tell the supermarket, okay, which is selling planting for you $2.50 a pound wholesale or $2 a pound wholesale. We can get you for $1.75.
And cripple Richie, because why?
That's what I'm asking you, my brother. That's what they're doing.
The businessman will take the cheaper deal.
But of course,
I would.
Let me show you a scenario here. I used to deliver to a supermarket owned by African, Sadol. And one time, when I went and do my delivery, he asked me why I selling plantain to him at $2.25 a pound. So I explained to him. Then he tell me, well, look, this lady come and offer them $1.75. I had to call my broker for my broker to give him the specifics in terms of duty and all them things there. And do the math. Me and him sit down in the office, and we do it over the phone. The broker talking to him on the phone, and we doing the maths. At the end of the day, what he tell me? He tell me, Clint, I looking out for the interests of my supermarket. I say, fine.
Of course.
But I'm gonna tell you one thing. I'm going to tell you one thing. You see that individual there? They're not gonna come back again. When I went back there the following Tuesday, he says to me, "You really know what he was talking about?" I said, "Of course." I said, "All for you to make any money in agricultural sales in terms of planting, after you add on all the necessary markups you have put on, damn the bills on it, you must sell planting at $2 a pound to break even."
Mm-hmm.
So that $2 there, you don't get nothing on the $2 there. If you buy, you buy. That $2 there is to buy your boxes, to pay the farmer, to pay the freight, to pay customs, to pay brokerage, to pay quarantine, transportation. So for you to make any kind of money, you have to add on 25 cents or 50 cents on it per pound. So like $2.50 a pound to make any kind of money. And I don't ask nobody that. I tell you because that's why I just do. You understand? So yeah, so next year.
Add on 15 cents. Add on 15 cents a pound, and then increase your production.
No, well, when I come kind that is to plant my own planting.
Okay, well, yeah. So you could have purchasing.
Yes, when I have my own planting now, I can decide the future of that.
Okay.
Because of my own planting now, I can tell them I can go exactly $2 a pound, and if the market fluctuates, the market have plenty planting on it, I can maybe tell them $1 but it's my own planting.
It's your own planting, yeah.
Right. But how much time you gonna have your own planting? So we have to go across the board.
You have to plant the planting now in cycles. You don't plant it. You don't plant. Like we say, you plant a 1,000 planting this month. 2 months from now, you plant another 1,000 planting again. So then now when
2 months,
that month, so
2 months, 2 months too close. Maybe about 4 months down.
Excuse me.
You have to give them space. You have to give them space. What happen if you plant 1,000 this month in April, and you go June and plant another 1,000, then where they gonna start to bunch around the same time.
Oh, okay.
So you have to go, let's see, if you plant it now in April, you have to plant maybe around August, going down September there. So you're gonna have enough time to start to reap the first set and take care of the second crop. And while you're taking care of the second crop, some of them might even bunch at the same time with the first crop that coming in another set from September.
Okay.
Yeah. That kind of thing.
Well, so that's what again Clip was saying. We need people to manage this stuff. So you first get people to go and get the market, secure the markets for the produce. You get managers to now manage the quality and the productivity, and you need to secure proper land space in order to put these things in. So like before we said on the live, the first time when we did the agricultural talk, where we had the where we allocated land, where we said we'd allocate land for certain produce, right? Drex, you are talking, I don't. Drex, you're listening to me.
Yes, I listen.
Oh, so we will allocate land for certain produce. So we plant fig in Wesley, yam in Penville, and and have the produce so that we can maximize profitability and find the best lands. So those are the things we need to do. We need to first study where the crops would grow the best to make the best marketable produce that we can, and also start utilizing our raw material to refine it to where we can maximize profitability. Because trust and believe you me, where we'll be now, we need to start refining our profitability or refining our raw product. Like you said, the mango knocking dog, making acid in the country right now. We need to somebody need to start picking up the mangoes, buying us, or let me say Fido open up a mango factory, and people have to bring mango to Fido for $1 a pound. You know what I'm saying?
Richie, let me stick on mango for a little while. Do you know the reason why we doesn't sell mango in a real way? Is that because of anything else but just bad practice? Because We have some of the nicest mangoes around. But guess what? We don't have no pest control. And how you think a mango will get warm now? It's a fly. A fly coming when the mango young and it burrowing into the mango. It laying the egg there. And then the pupa and all that thing come into life and so. And they will go down in the seed or you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But if you had a like there is a market for mango in London again. Yes, because Antigua taking full advantage of it. As a matter of fact,
Mango.
Antigua growing a mango they call it the kidney.
Eh.
That is the number one mango. They have long mango. No, it have two type of long mango. It have the thready one and the one that biting like food.
Okay.
You see the one that biting like food? They calling it Dominica seed. And it is a smaller long mango it is. The big long one, the big long mango that thready and nice, they call it long mango the same way up there. Now watch that. They have fruit fly too. They have pink millibug.
Question for you, Clint. How much for a grafted mango now?
A grafted mango, 50 cents. 50 cents for a grafted mango, 25 cents for a long mango.
Okay then.
Right.
And how much do you think they're selling them in England?
I don't know.
How much do you think they're selling them in England?
It could be £1. It could be £1, it could be 2 for a pound, I don't know how, but anyway you do any transfer in terms of currency, it's gonna be much higher. But watch that. Watch that. We can also do mango juice. We can do mango jam.
Yes, definitely. We can do mango snacks, the dried snacks.
Wait.
Okay, go ahead.
There are some things that are dried to put in cake. I think you are what you're talking about. You can do all that with mango.
They're not selling mango sting alone by themselves, just dried mango, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they just cut it up to mix it with the raisins and all that thing.
Yes, I know that. Cake mix.
Another thing you can do with mango, I can tell you, you know. Another thing you can do with mango is make beer. The beer with a drink in the bottle. Go in Florida, you'll see what they do with mango. Beer. I can carry in Boca Raton. Up in Boca Raton now, in a place where they call it Bruises. They selling pizza and everything there one time. Pop, make it for you one time. You have avocado beer. You have mango beer. You have, just name them. All that you can do. You can imagine a tourist coming Dominica and go by Richie restaurant or Richie bar. And he have a brewery right there doing mango.
Boy.
But watch that, Clint. The other day, right up here driving truck. I go by a place and pick up a load. Them man making beer in the back and have a restaurant in the front.
Yes.
Them man making beer in the back of the restaurant and have a restaurant in the front.
From you enter Bruises, Richie. From you enter Bruises, you see all the brewery them there bubbling away with whatever beer you're looking for. It going back in the back of the building, everything. But you see the setup. So you want a mug, then they pull the tap, you get a mug. Cold like ice. You understand? Yeah. So there's a lot of things we can do with what we have, but what we don't have, we keep talking about pests and pests. We have Pomsite. Pomsite is one of the biggest selling product fruit in the US. We have that, and we're not taking control of the pests. That thing. Grenada now is Grenada pushing the most Pomsite and the most sweets up to the US and the Caribbean. Amerijet carrying that from there to Florida. And we have those things down here. We have those things down here. Those ripen and fall on the ground. So everybody don't have to plant fig. Some people can plant Pomsite, some can plant sweets up. But for us to be able to sell those things, we have to have the necessary pest control. We have to have a well-oiled extension team to make sure those things they happen to
Look,
qualify
some
them
people
constantly.
So what's up? Avocado, cocoa, ginger, vanilla are superfoods which are in high demand. The markets are right next door.
Yeah. Another thing we're watching every day, and God bless us with it, is breadfruit.
Yes.
There are two kind of breadfruit in the Caribbean. I see they have a new one now with some big seeds inside it like bread nut. I'm talking about that.
There's a jackfruit.
You have no. You have a breadfruit, a pempe, but it have the seeds inside big like bread nut. Maybe around 8, 9 seeds inside of it. I can carry it now in Kayambu can show you actually right by Mr. Henderson there. Edmund Henderson. All right, but we're talking about that. We have the pempe there, which is the one you use to do the flour because it doesn't ripe like that. It's a hard one. And you have the yellow breadfruit. You see that yellow breadfruit there? That is why you can make money. And they falling down every time. We have to just find a way. You can make chips with it. You can make juice with it. You can make, what you call it, you see how they are punchy Cuba? You can make punch with it.
Yeah.
Yes, you have a lot of things you can do with it.
But
You can make flour
with it. In the hotel.
Yes, I'm telling you, I tell you that. You know. So there's a lot of things we can do in Dominica, but we just need the output. We really have the resource, but we don't have the output.
We need factories. Let me show you that. Like, I can say something there now. I cannot say something that might be controversial, but I can say. Instead of our opposition parties and them fighting so goddamn much, show the people of Dominica that you can invest in them to create positive avenues for outlets so they can generate their own income. If you don't have to you don't have to go and fight the politician in parliament. What you do is create a factory. You get somebody to invest in you into a factory where you can take the raw material and sell it. But
you see, Richie, you're forcing right now. You're forcing my hand.
Why forcing your hand to do?
No, I like to talk the truth. You see, since I know myself, opposition parties always behave like they fractured. And I explain what I mean by that.
Go ahead.
They always behave like they cannot do that. Okay. If you try, you can hold the government hostage, you know.
Of course.
What will happen is if Thompson Fountain go outside there and you get the necessary funding, what might happen, the government might try to slow him down for him to look ugly, that kind of a thing. When that happens, you're supposed to come out to the public and say, hey, listen, I've been in Dominica, I see the cry, hear the cry of the people, I feel the pain of the people, blah, blah. And that forced me to go to Trump in a private capacity. And Trump understand what I'm saying. I showed him everything. We are using that, using that. And then Trump decide he's going to invest $1 billion in my dream for Dominica. And here it is, the government of the day stalling it. Right away. If you do that, the people in the country will understand what they're dealing with. We have, I don't want to go that way there. You know what I mean? I don't want to go that way there tonight. Let's leave them alone. Yeah. So the people in the country will know, okay, but we also have people. The man going outside there, look what the man bringing back. And the man I voting for every time, the man blocking that.
And I will want the money in my
when I analyze myself, I check in, boy, if the man come there and I can plant a 5,000 planting or 10,000 planting, because look, the man can make chips and the man can pay me more than dollar ECR pound for planting. I'm in a better position. That kind of a thing there. The mindset there. I go and question the people am I voting. Why are they blocking him and them? And I want to live.
Of course.
But no opposition party up until tonight doesn't find, I don't know why they keep telling people it's not them that are in government. We know you're in government.
Yeah.
We know that. But you can go out there and look. Either people that have money that will invest.
Show us what you can do outside of government. So when we do put you there, we can say, well, yes, we put them there. Let me see what they're gonna do now while they're in there. But you don't show me nothing.
If they get the financing, they don't want to bring it Dominica. If you know Dominica going to frustrate you, don't bring the money in Dominica. What you have to do is, because you know you have the finance, so let's say you have it in holding in a bank in Antigua, a bank that have connections to Dominica. You can leave the money in Antigua, and then you operate your system outside of Dominica system. So if you need, let's say, to move $100,000 this week to pay farmers, we're using a figure, or 200 or $500,000 to pay farmers. You do it through a public bank, and to hell with the government. Let them try to block you all over. They want you to bring the money here for them to put FSU on you to hold you down and prevent you and having all kind of nonsense. Just to hold on something that's making sense for Dominica people. Leave the money in Antigua. Let Antigua use the money to build up Antigua instead. And then you take what you're taking to pay the people. Yeah, it can go like that. But we need to stop telling Dominicans we do their government.
Look at it coming. Cassava Man has done well for himself. When I was in Dominica recently, I saw he was making cassava pizza on the roadside, and so many tourists from the boats were waiting to buy. We need more young people like Cassava Man to step up and be innovative to create a visible, a viable business. Plantain and breadfruit flour is huge, as it can make pizza dough. 5 young people can come together and make a start.
Wow.
So my people,
I like that person there energy every night, you know, but yeah, something about that person there, I don't think they're realistic as much, because Cassava Man is just one person doing that. No, and I can tell you, wait. I can tell, if it's a she, I can tell her or he. If the big importers in Dominica could find a way to bring cassava pizza in a box to resell, they would do it. They would. I can show her on what levels I'm talking. For instance, there it is, this state pushing farmers to go into livestock. But for what? You want me to tell you for what? Because you have Asta fans bringing in chicken. Malcolm Stevens bringing in chicken, pork, and just name it, meat. And they bring it in cheap. They bring it in very cheap. So for you to saddle young people now with a loan to go into livestock production, and at the end of the day, they cannot sell it to make our money, and not even cannot sell it. I mean, if you can imagine you have 10 pig, and you're selling one this week, and maybe 2 weeks again, you chop up one on the roadside and you're forcing to sell it. That's the reality.
Yeah.
You see, we still don't have what it takes to mass produce for us to see a difference. Cassava Man is a good thing, but it's just about he alone. It's not like Cassava Man making $5,000, $6,000 a day, but it's a couple of years well he there. You understand? It's a couple of years well he there. Right, so he do his own little thing. When he don't have, he'll buy from somebody that have and that kind of thing. Fine, I admire his energy, but you can't use that to measure somebody else, because the other thing the person might get involved in is not the same thing like Cassava Man.
But
what she said is not a bad thing, it's just that I see that like differently.
Okay.
You understand? I see that like differently, Because I keep saying every time, in Dominica, why is it that people, before they see somebody doing something, they want to do the same thing? And then you have too much people barbecuing chicken. You understand?
It's a
And then
convention.
they good.
It's a
Whereas if you
convention.
had one or two people doing it, you would see a bigger turnover. Because
That's
we
it.
don't have population again. A lot of things going against us. We don't have population, we don't have money.
Well, Jerks, the system up on our back, beating us hard, but it's us that beating our own goddamn
No, we
self.
can beat it, man. We can beat the system.
But it's
I
us that
believe to
beating.
myself we can beat the system. Somebody might say I'm crazy, but I believe to myself, if we go the right way, if we challenge the right people, not cost people because you want results.
You want yes,
Because that
not
you see,
right.
because that don't have nothing to do with politics. I don't see politics have a part to play. I understand that. But a personal development that have nothing to do with politics per se, even if it's hanging over your head. But I think you have to channel it differently. So for instance, Wesley have a whole sort of young men in the village. If I was the pilot for Wesley, that $100 million there, I would find a way to channel that development there to those young people in Wesley. Because why? I'm in a position to provide a market for them.
Mhm.
So when I tell them, I say, if you don't, I feel you can manage a piece of planting around 10,000 planting. Fido will say, of course. And I'll tell Fido, okay, I'm gonna do the necessary things for you to be productive. You bring Fido in your office, you sit him down, you say, listen, with that production there, we cannot be paying dollar a pound. Because some money had to go somewhere a place. He said, So we can pay you 75 cents a pound. Brother, if you plant 10,000 planting and you get 75 cents a pound, obviously, if you sell $1, you'll make more money. But do the math for me, Fido. 10,000 planting at 40 pounds a bunch. That's what, 400,000 pounds?
10,000 divided by
At 40.
40,000 by 40 is 250.
No.
You
Multiply.
divide it, multiply.
Oh,
It's
10,000.
400,000 pounds, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you stack up Fido against somebody that have the same amount of planting, but they're not in that program, they're looking for dollar a pound. Chances are they might make $175,000. But because Fido they're in it in our system, he will make $300,000, right?
Yeah.
If
I
you
have
multiply
300.
that by 0.75,
Yeah,
he gonna make
75.
300.
Yeah.
So he already know he tapping off at 300,000 on his first crop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And if you do the math right, if you multiply that 300,000 by 1.6, do it for me, let me see.
By
300,000 by
1.6,
1.6. Yes.
that'll give you 480.
Right. So he know in his first and second crop, he clocking over $750,000. That is the space for maybe a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
The man financially well. So you can imagine if you do that, you start a project so in Wesley with at least 20 young men. And as a minister, you can go out there because them boys don't have money. You can go out there, use your ministry, get people are willing to like donor agencies that want to help a situation. Yes, I mean, buy fertilizer and listen to how I'll do it. Buy fertilizer. Boss Enterprises in Wesley right there. You don't want to bring fertilizer and give it away free for boss business to fall.
I know,
So
right?
you're going to go buy boss. You're going to go buy boss and you're asking boss, how much money? Let me see your documents. Maybe, after a conversation, how much money in terms of interest you're making on a bag of fertilizer? Boss going to tell you I'm making around $25 on a bag. Okay? So you give him an 5,000 bag of manure to sell for farmers at $25 a bag. The $25 go buy balls. That is where you keeping balls in play.
Yeah.
It's like literally you giving the farmer the money for free, you know. It's just that you want boss to stay in business. So you are allowing them to move the fertilizer for you.
Yes.
So every bag he said he gonna make $25. So everybody's saying up. Tony saying up is up and up. Everybody's saying up.
Everybody up.
So you don't undermining nobody. And then down the road, you're gonna see the production from that. What you have to do now as a minister is look for a real market for Fido and all the rest Fido them to sell the plantain and the banana and the dasheen and the tanya and the breadfruit and whatever the case is. And also, you should get involved in processing some of these things.
Yeah.
So some of those things could stay here. That's where your 25 cents. That's where the 25 cents you keep away from me would stay.
Going into play.
Would stay on the ground. So after you do all those million tons of bananas there or planting, whatever production you have, that 25 cents you hold back from the dollar, that would stay here in Dominica. All the money gonna stay here, but those money they will stay from under the government perspective. So they can invest it somewhere else.
Yeah.
That is the way we have to go. You know. Dominica, too much intelligent people for politicians to come and talk rubbish this time. That is why I tell all you, I don't support no party and hook up on no party. When you see us try to form the ass, I push all you out. Simple.
And somebody said we don't need a minister to do that.
Well, money is yes.
Are you available to talk with us tonight, no, sir? Say yes or no. All I want you to do is just say yes or no. If you're available to talk with us tonight. You also have 5-10 minutes of your time. All we want is 10 minutes. More than likely. And you will have the floor for 10 minutes. Please.
Well, I just gonna go ahead and give you the response yet. Let me see if I can send him the link.
Oh yeah, send him the link. Yeah, see if he can
So it's simple, Richie. You don't need no scientists to come and do that, have them kind of vibes there. It's simple. You have to just understand what you're dealing with. Understand the people. You understand the people, and you're good to go.
True.
Listen to what you're crying for.
Yeah. You need a market investment and people willing to work. I can only okay.
Okay, all right then. Well,
one of them nights we're gonna get you on the live. Eh? We need to get some of your PhD, you know. Yeah, man. But it's tough, man. And I don't want to be something so redundant all the time, and tell them to open their eyes to see what is really around them, to know where we need to go and where we need to get to. Because it's there for us. It's there for us to see.
The people know, man. They know.
They know.
They know. You want to tell me, Richie, you want to tell what Wesley is Wesley from is die strong. You want to tell me in the year 2025, 4 months gone already, and we're there around in Wesley and we're watching from top to bottom. If I go road now tonight, the road dark. Up to today, we was in Portsmouth talking about that. Oscar was saying when he drive to Wesley, he see commerce. Somebody commerce was wrong, you know.
Yeah.
But man, a man could take his family and just go down by Us Street tonight and have dinner and don't worry.
Yeah.
He took it on his pocket and he put up $500. Us Street gave him a bill for $300. He paid that. And he don't worry because why? He know next week he have 4 van load of fig to sell. Another $500 of fig. You know? Sometimes I know people in Wesley used to sell bananas. The man and them. And first week they sell, second week, third week they sell. When they get the check, they just give madam that. The last check in the month, they hold on to that for themselves. You know? That. But we lost that. And that's not a good thing. We need to come back to that, but in a different way, in a more intelligent way. Not the same way. Not the same way to just go and plan, get like you crazy in. you know, in a different style, more effective, latest style, mechanics, that kind of thing there. That is what I want to see happen in Dominica. We can run away from that, you know.
No, no,
We
no.
can run away from that.
We have to show growth, and
Oh, really?
I believe also the government need to find subsidies to be able to subsidize some of the farm.
We have enough
Even
money in Dominica, man.
no,
You all them
listen to what
$1 billion you have there.
listen to what I'm saying. Though. Listen to what I'm saying. In America, they subsidize farmers. If in case your crop get destroyed, they're able to now
Yeah.
subsidize you to make sure that you're able to plant again to get some more.
Of course.
We have to figure out ways in which we can do these kind of things because we need. But you see, again, I think it boils back to politics. But I think that the people in the administration like people to come to them. They like the feeling that they are the god, and without them, you can't survive. So it's like a god complex.
Okay.
You without me, you are nothing.
Nothing, and you can never get nowhere.
And
Yeah.
you can never be nothing. So the people need to get that mentality out of their mind and say, you are not God, you are just like us.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to be self-sufficient and self-reliant. Stop depending on man to give. That's what I want to do tonight. As if I fed up my mouth dry. I think I need some apple juice or something. I need a mango. I need some mango to eat.
Mango.
A mango juice. Hey, Clint, I have to say for your wrap up for the Clint boy. My mouth dry tonight, then boy.
Well, for me, very simple, you know. I think we have to approach it differently. I think when I say differently, I'm talking about in terms of being micromanaging, we supposed to be doing macro managing. We as individuals, we should look at the bigger picture. You know what are you saying?
Roughly, how much farmers would you say we have in Dominica, right?
I don't know. I can't really say that. Maybe Wesley have around 25. How much village are there in Dominica? I don't even know.
I don't know. Maybe let's say 500.
No, yeah, more than that, man.
Yeah, more than
But
that.
Maybe in the thousands. Maybe in the thousands.
If I was satisfied, I would want to say he still have around 2,000 farmers in Dominica. But 2,000 farmers farming what? because remember we buying stuff.
Here's what I found.
Sanjay, most farmers would come by you with 4 bunch of planting, 6, 7 bunch of planting. I mean, I don't want to sound funny, but is that what we really want to call a farmer?
No, that's not a farm. That's a backyard garden.
Right.
That's a backyard garden.
So seriously speaking, he wouldn't have 2,000 farmers.
That is true. Wesley 25 is aging like Marigot farmers. The average age of a farmer is 65 years. And that is very, very, very true.
Yep.
It don't have much young farmers. And the young farmers not planting. What they planting is marijuana.
When I went into farming, I was about 18, 19. And the reason why I went is because the government, them at the time, Freedom Party, as well as GWP, they had make it in a way that young people would want to do it. Number one, you were sure to sell. Number two, the prospects you had in terms of production and expenses, it was minimal because most of the stuff you wanted, you could just go to an IDC, give them your code, and I want 10 bag of manure, I want 2 gram of zone, I want a permicid to do why, and you get it. They give it to you, but when you sell, they take out 2 cents a pound just to pay back for it.
Yeah.
So you was paying back for your stuff, you credit, and you didn't realize you was paying back for it. At the same time, they were taking out 2 cents a pound for your inputs. So your credit, you was building a reserve in terms of inputs. You was building a reserve in terms of boxes. So you didn't have to take money in your pocket to buy boxes. You did not take money in your pocket to buy inputs because the 2 cents a pound was already accounting for that. You understand? In some cases, you had farmers when they take all the 2 cents a pound for inputs, all $3,000 that coming out, Yeah, all 3,000 plus. I can tell you guys see the figures.
And they're still going on
You
with
know?
10,000.
But how you mean no?
You still take 3, but they're still going on with 10.
Yeah, those farmers there was doing over $100,000 a year. Wesley people, you understand? So it's basically that. I mean, like we say, we have to approach it differently. Because things go so bad, we have to pull back and find a new way to approach it.
To approach it, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that way, so we can get young people to get interested in it. Yeah, I think we have to kind of leave. But you see, me when it comes to agriculture is very dear to my heart. So I just try not to put politics in it.
And I that's why I'm glad you didn't put the politics.
Yeah, I just try not to put
politics, but
I just try not to put politics in it.
Yeah.
Because I want to see plenty good happen for it. Because I mean, that is one of the things Dominica cannot afford to leave behind. Especially now we're gravitating towards other things in terms of tourism. The reason why Dominica have a market in Antigua is because Antigua doesn't have agriculture and they need agricultural products. No, God bless us with the soil to have our own agriculture. So if we invest into tourism, we have agriculture to subsidize our tourism. And at the same time, you have people making money in tourism and people making money in agriculture. What better way to go? What do you think, Richie?
No man, we have a lot of ways to go. We need to strategize, pull back, like you say, look at the picture, see what we can and cannot do, and make it happen for our country, man. The government at
I
hand
think so.
need to invest into its people so that the people can grow and be self-sufficient. And
And
the new market they're talking about bringing into the country there, which is the marijuana cultivation, I believe that the same $1 million they want to invest, they invest in there, how much $1 billion, help some of these young people who are already into the industry grow the crop so that so everybody can benefit. Help them get the license and whatever they need and let everybody benefit. Because, yo, I was watching a video somebody posted today, Kerry posted today,
oh
of
yeah, I saw it.
Marigot. You know, where's flat? Marigot was always a busy section. Busy, 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 busy. And the place dead. Why is it fella that had a little rum shop on the side of the road there somewhere flat? Where they use a little bus stop there?
Danny.
Danny. The place Danny closed down.
Yeah.
That time of the
Yeah.
that's bewilderment to me. That is crazy. What is going on?
But
Everywhere closed down.
before you look, I'll say something about that. And I don't mean to drag down nobody, but history will show you, and I only saying it for me to say something else. History will show you Marigot business places have always been patronized by Wesley young people, and that is a fact. Now, put that on our side. We're talking about Danny, but let me talk about Wesley. Wesley wasn't Marigot because remember, we used to take our money and go Marigot.
Yeah. And
So it means that Wesley was always
busy.
busy because most of our money was spent in Wesley.
Yeah.
But we used to make Marigot look good. You understand me?
Yeah.
So now we practically can't go Marigot again. And we can't even go.
In Wesley.
We can't even go by our own in Wesley.
Oh, God. Oh God, oh God,
And
oh
that
God,
is
oh
the
God.
reality of the situation. Any young man in Mara can tell you that. Wesley fellas used to come Mara, but by Danny, by Bolan, by Jeffrey, already hotspot on them there. And just enjoy themselves, spend money, you know. So, and now, today Wesley, if I go road now, Benji closed already. Benji closed already, and Benji is the hottest place in Wesley.
Wesley. By
Yeah.
Otis,
And
by
Benji
Otis
closed.
open still.
Well, yeah, Otis will stay open like a late, maybe around 10 o'clock. And then he
Look,
closed.
the power up say, oh yes, and spend plenty time too.
Yeah.
So, you know, we used to work coincide with one another. Although
Of
Mario and
course.
us people never used to like one another, you know, but we used to coincide.
I don't think they didn't like one another. We just used to cut across each other in some ways, and we know what that is.
Mario man never used to like Wesley man to come and take their woman. That was
That.
it. That was it. Don't come
That
Mario and
is.
take a woman at all.
But they don't come Wesley and woman in Wesley, no.
Well,
They
and
come
it's
Wesley
true.
and woman in Wesley. We going back there and woman in Marigot and that thing. So, how much problem right now, and so I don't think you can have that thing down the road. You know.
Love one another so much. That is true. It's a love, it's a
You're right.
community. It's a
How
community.
far are we? How far are we? Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
community
man.
love.
But Richie, we can do the thing. It can work. I think we have to just summon our people, our leaders, and them, and have a sit down and explain the situation without too much bitter argument and so, and cannot leave the politics aside. We know it exists already. Leave it
Yes.
aside and try to make sense. Have a sensible conversation
Makes sense or
with
not?
them. I don't. I kind of want to think along that line there because I wouldn't want to go in a forum with Grant or the Prime Minister cussing. Because at the end of the day, I don't know if
It
people
will be,
can come out.
it will be
But
counterproductive.
I really want to hear what they have to say. Sensible, eh? What they have to say, what they intend to do, and what sense you gonna make for me and for other people. You know. I kind of want to hear that than to go inside of there talking about the red and blue and all that foolishness there. I mean, yeah, you always have a reference to make, to say, well, when freedom was there or when the other party was there, that was happening. Why is the reason why it doesn't happen now? So then you explain to me why the shortcomings and stuff like that, that kind of a thing. There.
Well,
But I really wouldn't want to go there and talking about labor and
can we write a letter and address it to them and to invite them to a sit down so we can have a conversation, a meaningful conversation, so where everybody can come out of the conversation with something positive so that we can
across the
develop.
board.
Huh?
Across the board, because at the end of the day, we just there. I mean, doesn't matter what color we're behind, we just there. And key
No,
red, key blue, key orange,
no, I'm trying to say,
key
can we formulate some form of a letter to create to ask for a dialogue, to ask for a sit down, so we can meet with our leaders and bring these pointers across to them? How do we go about getting that kind of meeting with them? That is the
well,
question I want to ask. How
if
do we?
that's not to ask question. I mean, who
Is it a letter? Is it a phone call? Is it what? How do we go about initiating such a conversation with our leaders? To the power up who's on the live then now. How do we go about initiating such a conversation with our leaders so that we can pull our ideas together and have a conversation? A conversation is need to be had. So because I see us going nowhere if we don't have a conversation. And I think it will make our country stronger. It will make our young men stronger if they are self-reliant, self-sufficient, and not depending totally on. And it will also release some of the hardship on the country's purse, in the sense that we know that our passports are not selling as how they were selling before, because our passport has lost its value a little bit. Can we have a conversation to empower our young people? We really need that. And I talking from a perspective of both sides, putting our egos to the side and having a conversation. after 20 to 25 years, we should not be talking about freedom of workers that they what they do. I think there was enough time to fix the errors. If there was and make a difference.
Well, yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, in reality, in some of the conversations, they make come a preference, but you don't gonna go in a conversation
And just
to
based on
carry that
emotion.
with. That's not gonna be the conversation. You and somebody have a conversation, you and tell them, well, look back then, that used to happen like that under that administration there. So, join reference to it now. Why is the issue? Why this doesn't happen? That kind of a thing there. But you don't go and go there and read and do story. I don't. If it's that can happen, I don't want to then.
It's a waste of time. So
Sure.
to our leaders, whoever listens, whoever shares our live, we want to have a conversation with our leaders so that we can empower our youth and take our country forward. We tired of the protests, we tired of the constant back and forth and bickering and foolishness. We want to have dialogue and fruitful dialogue. Because where are we at? Where are we going? We need to make this thing make sense. It's too much arguing, too much of fussing, and too much of fighting. Let us make this thing make sense. Our countries for us to develop is our home, is our love for country, why we doing these lives, is our love for the people, why we even trying to educate and edify and make the people and them have something to think about. And Drex is passionate about agriculture. I am not as passionate as Drex because I've never really been in agriculture, but I have seen the fruitfulness of agriculture in my community. My grandmother used to have me go and pick up almond all over Dominica, picking up almond for her to make her almond tablet. And she sustained her family and herself off of almond tablet and dukuna and bread nut and them kind of things they sales. So I know what it can do. As a small agriculturalist, she had her lettuce in her backyard, her cabbage, all her things in her backyard. So I know what it can do for our people. When my grandmother died, my grandmother had so much money in her account, she leave all her grandchildren them with money. And I'm talking about $1,000 money, I'm talking about money. So, and she was just a mere farmer. So much as for the people and them who really was farming.
Yeah.
So let us do something differently. Let us converse. Let us have a conversation. To our leaders, sometimes we just talk a noise, but tonight we're talking some sensible stuff. Let us converse with one another. Let us make this thing a dialogue where we can push Dominica to the next level, and maybe it can make a difference. Because earlier I said we have better roads than a lot of these islands in the Caribbean, and we do. Drex might not believe it, but we do. I sure he go in Antigua and bumping every second he go. Ship a hole after ship a hole.
No, Antigua can't have good road.
Okay then. So then why does not face Dominica for our best road we have? We are the best road in the Caribbean. We are the best road. So we have to take one or two when we get the one or two, man. So
we don't have the best in the Caribbean, no.
My people, it was a pleasure having this conversation with you guys tonight. It was a pleasure. Let me give you guys with a little book from the Book of Wisdom. A quote from the Book of Wisdom. We should not be constantly losing sight of the power and majesty of nature. If we persisted in studying it in detail without a conception of its unity. So we should not be constantly losing sight of the power and majesty of nature. We should not be constantly losing sight of the power and majesty of nature. Nature is where naturalistic things is where we can go to grow ourselves. Let us use that and grow ourselves. Dominica is us to build. Dominica is our home. Let us stand for our home and fight for our country. Have a blessed and productive remainder of the week. Cardos Media with Drex and Fido signing out.
Well, this is Cardos Media, and yeah, don't blame the messenger. Yeah.